Hello from very cold Massachusetts. Welcome to today's FiberCast. Today's date is February 12th, 2016. My name is Lynn and I'm your host. And I'm really not this cold, but I just had to tell you, it's 18 degrees outside, and it's going to get down to -8 or 9 or 10 tonight and tomorrow night. So the fires are burning. So welcome. I have so much to talk about. First is our mystery quilt, the Oh Baby Baby mystery quilt. I'm going to work on that pronto all through the night. I want to share with you all about the Missouri Star Quilt Company and the wonderful retreat we had. I can't wait to introduce you to everyone I met out there. We all met out there. It was just beyond our expectations. It was terrific. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about Valentine's history, and I'm going to share with you some Valentines from 30 plus years ago. So let's get started. And welcome. And as always, grab your own project, keep working, work on whatever you want, and send email or post your progress on the Simply Colorful Facebook pages. And my email, it's hard to remember, and Jean, I am going to change it. But for now, send email to lmarquidant@gmail.com. So, on the Simply Colorful website, you'll see the reveal of our Oh Baby Baby quilt. I have the blue one behind me. You can see the bottom parts of it. And then I have the pink one, and I'm putting the final border on it. So I thought I would just literally get started on that. I hope that it was pretty self-explanatory. I have all of the clues that we put together from the first week, units 1 through 5. I have them, and I literally am going to put on one side at a time. So you can see here, here's my panel, and I'll hold it up at the end. Basically, I line up my 2-inch square by 2-inch square, then this, another one of these, and I sew 4 of those, and then I sew this at the end. So I'm literally just going to get going on that because I did not get as much of this done ahead of time as I expected. I only got one side on. It has been, well, let me back up. I came back more energized and excited to quilt after going to Missouri. It was just wonderful. Of course, at the same time, work was unbelievably busy. So I have not, by the end of every day, I've been exhausted, so I have not gotten much done at night. Let's see. So literally what I'm doing is I'm doing the four pieces here. This is where the chain, the direction of your chains was important. You may remember you had the light one color going this way and then the light going this way. The ones going this way, you needed 8 of these total, the 3 years. Whereas up at the top, you only needed 6 of them. If that made sense. For those of you who made the quilt, I hope that does. Okay, so let me finish one more here. And we quilters are pretty visual, so as you know, I go and I line it up, and then I put it over. So for anyone who's new, welcome. You'll find that FiberCast can be different every week. Last week was certainly different. I must admit I have not watched it. I was so thrilled that everyone at the retreat was willing to play along and do a FiberCast live. What you didn't see was literally minutes before it wasn't working, and then Meg from the Missouri Star Quilt Company helped with providing a PC that had a better connection. So I'm so glad we were able to do it. Of course, and we got to see Beth. Oh, I have so much to bring you up to speed on. But we didn't get to end very well. Jean came up, and she was about to show everyone what she had worked on, and the FiberCast stopped. So I apologize for that abrupt ending. Jean had actually already finished a bigger size of this Oh Baby Baby quilt, and we were going to give you a sneak peek. But sometimes, okay. Remember, I'm sure you have found out by now it's important that you had 2 different ones of these. Oh, nothing like triangles to goof us up. So, let me do one more, and then I want to formally welcome our new viewers. You see, I'm using my Sloan. It's nice to get back to the machine, I must admit, to my own machine. Although we did enjoy the machines at Missouri Star. You know, all the way out as we were flying. There were 4 of us that flew from Boston out. And we kept imagining, because we hadn't really done, or I hadn't, I'll speak for myself, done homework on exactly what kind of machines we had rented. But it turned out they were great. They were baby lock machines. And they had more features, certainly, than I had ever used, including an automatic cutting feature. So that was neat. Okay, so I've done literally 4 of these for one side. And now I'll put the pinks on. But before I do that, I really want to shout out to everyone I met at the Missouri Star Quilt Company MSQC retreat. It was a delight. Cindy and Susan, I'm going to call you Nancy for the rest of my life. Cindy and Susan were such great hosts. It was wonderful. They treated us so well from beginning to end. Tracy, it was wonderful to meet you and to see all that you worked, along with your other Tracy there, all that you were working on. Such talent. Stephanie, hello. Lisa, hello. Carla, Joan, Kelly, Lori, Deanne, Helene, Mary Jo, Nancy, Susie, Ann, Kathleen, Crystal, and Beth. And I'm sure I've missed some more. It was so fun, wasn't it? I want to go back again. In fact, I am hearing of another trip this fall. So anyway, nice to have met everyone. I have your names. Share the love about FiberCast and send us pictures of what you're working on. You should have seen all the quilts. Missouri Star Quilt Company, they're onto something. They're led by Jenny Doan, who came and did a trunk show and was incredibly interesting, inspiring, entertaining. She and her family basically fled from California during a time, I want to say 20 years ago, when the school systems were just in terrible, they were living in just a very unruly part of the country, and so they packed up 5 or 6 kids, she and her husband, and they moved west, and after going like this on a map, and they got themselves to Hamilton. They literally stayed at a realtor's house that night that they arrived because there wasn't anything immediately available to rent, and they ended up making a wonderful life there. And she and her family will say it's the best thing that they did. So I won't tell you her story. I'll leave her to tell you that story. Highly recommend everyone go to Missouri and to Hamilton to see what they've built. They're up to 10 stores. They literally ship around the world. They had a whole factory with a warehouse width of quilts hanging, quilt tops hanging ready to be quilted. They have 12 quilting machines going on and probably more being added as we speak. They have full-time sewers working on Jenny's patterns, including Cindy. And when we were there, they had BYU was there doing a series on Turning Point. I think that was the name of it. And they were filming Jenny and her story. So it's an exciting place to be. You can feel things buzz there. And it's all around something we love, which is quilting, right? Okay, so see, I'm just literally sewing this last border on, knowing that I need 4 repeats. So I have 1 repeat, I have 2 repeats, and I want to make sure that my half square triangles are facing the right way. Okay, so this is 3. So everyone send pictures. Show me what you're working on. Show me your mystery. Show everyone else your mystery quilts. I've seen so many online already. It's exciting. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay. After I put this side on, I'm going to see who's out there. Send me your emails. And for anyone thinking of going to Missouri, we flew into Kansas City, Missouri, and the prices were very good, the airfare. I was actually looking at airfare and noticed that it does get higher in the summer and fall months, but if you're willing to fly to Des Moines or to Wichita, Kansas, I noticed the flights were about $100 cheaper. Just a little point of fact. Of course, many of the folks that were there, all from all over, had driven or had flown from Minnesota, from North Dakota. Okay, so here it is. And now, literally, as you know, I'm not much of a pinner, but I like to nest my seams. So I nest the pink seam, and I found that on the other side, if I pin at least that pink seam here, I can fit the rest in. And it works pretty well. Oh! As soon as I sew this, I'm going to see who's out there. I worked here at home today, and every break, my job was to stoke the fires. I went through so much wood today. And I suspect we're going to go through a lot of wood this weekend. Bob has been working out at one of his properties this week. He has a renter turning over, and oh, you want to talk about yucky work. Turning over an apartment. But, and believe me, it is not glamorous. But he's almost done. Oh, and he took our vacuum cleaner that I use here, and I'm sure it is full of construction dust. That was not sanctioned. But. Okay, I think I'm almost halfway done. But there's nothing like a good vacuum cleaner. And there's nothing worse than a bad vacuum cleaner. You should have seen we had a great trip home, very uneventful. My sister KB, who came out to Missouri, she went through Detroit. She was by herself, and she but she got home okay, probably close to 11. Deb flew back out to California, and that went well. We had a fine flight back to Boston, and everything was going swimmingly until we literally went to the economy lot where Chris had driven us in, and she had parked her car. We all got in the car. That was fine. It was where we thought it would be. Thankfully, Jean had taken a picture of the number on the second floor, so we knew which letter of the parking lot to find. Anyway, we get down. Oh, and we paid at the booth, and it was affordable. And don't you know, we get down, and we're ready to leave the booth. This is at Boston Logan, at the economy lot. Don't you know, they have two exits. The first one, our ticket that shows we paid got stuck in it, and the bar, you know, the thing that lets you in and out, yeah, the bar, the gate, wouldn't go up. Then on the other ticket counter, the tickets were spewing out of the ticket counter as fast as you could see them. Then they would stop, and then you'd think, okay, that's going to work. And then they'd start spewing out again. It was quite funny, although you want to talk about people having short fuses. We'd run into a man that had literally flown back from Ethiopia, and he also got caught in the traffic jam. It probably took 20 or 30 minutes, literally, for someone. I think eventually they came and they fixed the computer. It was a computer glitch, of course. All right. We have earned an opportunity to look at your emails and what you have sent. Okay. So I've literally sewn this on. I will iron it and then iron it open. And see, doesn't that give it a nice finish? The little circles there. Okay, so we've got that side, and then I had already done this side. So now, after we check everyone's who's out there, we'll do the top and the bottom. Who's out there? Okay, so in Hopkinton, like I said, oh, now it's 19 degrees, not 18. On Sunday, the high is supposed to be 10 degrees, and it's going to get to -8. Now, let's see, just for kicks, Hamilton. M-O. It's 21 degrees in Hamilton. And for those of you in Hamilton, you knew that already. Okay, who's out there? Oh, Carla, hi. Carla says, hey, Lynn, got the shirt in the mail this morning, and I'm excited to watch the broadcast tonight. I'm so glad you're with us. It was great meeting you and hearing your story. Wishing you success with Simply Colorful. Thanks for the nice shirt. Hope to see you again down in Missouri. That is a plan, Carla. And I hope you keep joining us and let us know what you'd like to see on FiberCast. It's amazing what we get done in 60 minutes. In fact, try something. Try devoting 60 minutes to FiberCast for the next month or the next even couple of weeks, and see if you don't get more done by putting aside those 60 minutes every week to get something done. I know now being in the 3rd year, get more done because of this than I ever would have on my own. In fact, you might see over this shoulder, you might see my dancing pinwheels. For those of you who are at Missouri, I was working on those, and I don't think I showed it last FiberCast, but I made them out of just a charm square pack of the solids, and then I chose a very busy big print that I thought would match it. I don't have it right here, but it has those spools of thread. And then discovered that I really had to tone it down and try and create some order. And so Kelsey and Jean and Chris and Karen and Beth and Deb all helped me design the dancing pinwheels, and I chose a Bella Solids chocolate, which is kind of fitting for Valentine's Day. And that chocolate is the color that's in between them all. And it's a brown, and it just kind of subdues it a little bit. So I'm liking that. It's going to be a lap quilt. Don't know where it's going or who it's for, but it was fun to do. So that was a long-winded hello, Carla. Cassandra, hi. She says, hey, Lynn, loved seeing you and the gang, including Beth. I know. At Missouri Star Quilt. You all seem to be having such a great time. I was green with envy. Ooh. She says, I'm doing a little hand quilting tonight. I'm quilting the grid as well as each cute little animal. This little quilt is for one of my little digs. Now they will each have a matching blanket. Wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. Oh, I love it. Oh, look at that. Oh, that must be fun to do, to sit and do. And I love the colors. They're very, very now, aren't they? I tell you what, next time come with us. Linda. Hi, Linda. It's titled Mystery. She says, hi, Lynn. I'm unable to watch tonight, but wanted to show you the finished Mystery Oh Baby. She says, it is just so sweet. I love seeing all the wonderful color combinations on Facebook. Thanks for this cute little quilt, sweet design. I love it, Linda. Oh, Linda, I do too. Look at your color combos. Oh, that is sweet. And look at what a beautiful job you did. Very nice. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I did quilt that on my Bernina, and I quilted all of the white on this one. So what happens, well, actually, I outlined the chain, and then I did stippling in the white so that all of the others come forward. And that was really very easy to do. I'd love to see how other people quilt theirs. Oh, thanks, Linda. And Beth. Oh, my goodness. Beth and Crystal, you tickled me pink. I was so glad to meet you in Hamilton. Thank you for coming out. We have to do it again. Beth says, and Beth, I have your bag that you gave us. I wanted to show everyone this. Beth came, and she literally brought all of us who were traveling, so there were 6 of us. She made us each a bag, and it's signed MSQ 2016, and it was filled with pralines from South Carolina. It was filled with a charm pack. It was filled with all sorts of things, and chocolate, and it had a drawstring. So it was very thoughtful, and I hope that I didn't scare you with my silly sense of humor. It's just I get so excited and giggling. So anyway, thank you for this. And what has Beth been working on? She says, happy early Valentine's Day to Lynn and the FiberCasters. Working on some handwork, a tiny wall hanging. And she says, I miss you guys. Had so much fun last week. I've got the days penciled in for 2017. Happy stitching, Beth. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at you. What size are those hexies? Those look very little. I love your handwork, and I love the brights that you use in your quilting. Oh, that's lovely. Love it. You've been busy. Oh, I have to check out your daily podcast, too. I meant to when I came home, and I haven't yet. LL, who's this? Oh, Kathleen and Metatron. She says, hello, thank you, Lynn. I received my shirt today. I'm so excited to wear it. I will be tuning in this evening. See you soon. Ah, Kathleen, I'm so glad. Thanks for being part of it. And Carol says, hi, Lynn. I've just seen the pictures from Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it looked like you all had a great time. Today, I almost finished one of my UFOs. This picture is from when I was layering it out. It's a king size, and it finished at 106 by 110 inches, just to hand sew the binding down. And so it cleared out the box I had been keeping it in. Good for you! So she says, this got me thinking about your discussion the other week as to whether or not people keep a record of the quilts they make. Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up, because I'm so glad. While I'm doing a project, she says, I keep an A4 punched plastic pocket with the paste-up sheet and any notes I make about the pattern I'm using. When I finish my project, I just put this straight into my completed ring binder. That's such a good idea. I know exactly what you mean. They're plastic, they're 8.5 by 11, and they have the 3, I think, maybe they're legal size, but they have the 3 holes. So you put it in the ring binder, and then on the computer you start a Word document and just insert pictures from various stages of the project, and then type up any notes I want to keep. This usually includes any variations from the pattern, how I quilted it, finished size, and what I would do differently or what to watch out for if I did that pattern again, like greater contrast needed. Oh, that's a good idea. I was looking forward to seeing how the Oh Baby Baby quilt is going to be finished, but think I have spotted KB's blue and yellow one on the Missouri Quilt Star pictures. It looks gorgeous. Yours, Carol, from Yorkshire, England. Oh, Carol. I love what you have done here. Look at this UFO, everyone. That's a king size. Oh, that is great. Love it. Here, let's see if I blow it up. Maybe you can see more closely what that looks like. Oh, that's like a big box of chocolate candy for Valentine's Day. Carol, thank you for sharing that. That is a great idea for how to take care of things. One other cute little thing, I don't know if we talked about this. Some people put extra fabric behind their label on the back. Has anyone seen that? So you take maybe a little piece of fabric the size of your hand of each color that's in your quilt. Probably not for scrap quilts, but if you have something where you're using a limited palette, put it in there. It's protected from the sunlight, and if your quilt lasts long enough, you can use it to repair the quilt. Susan! Hi, Susan! Susan, who led the retreat last week with Cindy, she says, hi. Ooh, I want to send you some rulers, she said. Ooh, thank you. We'll be using those in future episodes. And I'll tell you guys all about those, the binding ruler and more. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so let's do 2 more here. So now I'm up in the corner. Remember we did 4 of these? That will go right here in the corner. And then there's a pink. And then on this one, I'm using the light pink threesome. Now I played with on EQ, and I actually included it in that last clue. I played with, let's see, let's do that on, no. Played with different contrasts of these chains. And I almost wish that I had gone with the other ones that where, on this one, the 2 light chains kind of recede to the background. And I think I like it. It's a little more complicated if you have one of them come forward and one go back. So I'd be interested if anyone plays with that. Anyway, and I have the EQ pattern if anyone wants it. The file. You can play with it. Okay, so this one is literally only 3 long, because this is going across the top. So I literally create 3. Allie has been up to her grand old tricks since I've been back. Yesterday I came home and she had literally taken 4 cans of tuna fish. You know, the tuna that comes packed in 4 packs with cellophane around it. She had taken that out and had taken the cellophane off with her teeth and then had proceeded to chew each of the 4 cans of tuna fish flat, basically sucking out the tuna fish and the flavor. Ugh, I walked in the door. She was there on the big rug. The rug is now outside being frozen to death. And the reason I'm telling you about it is because I can hear her. She's here. She just walked upstairs into the studio. Oh my goodness. And she definitely, hi Allie. As you know, her hearing is going. But her sense of smell seems still good. So sometimes I'll come down the stairs and she'll have her head up, but she'll be looking completely not toward the stairs. And then it's like I scare her when I get there. Anywho, what are you guys working on? I am going tomorrow to my doll club. Did you guys know that I make dolls? You probably did. And tomorrow Barbara Roman is going to teach us how to make those cute little crocheted animals. We're making an octopus. And she is so thorough. She has done an amazing job already, I can tell, in the instructions. We're supposed to bring a certain size crochet hook. Luckily, I have crochet hooks. And all we need to know is a single chain stitch, a double chain, let's see, a chain stitch, a single crochet, and a double crochet. How we're going to make an octopus, I have no idea. Definitely, I've never gotten the hang of reading crochet patterns, which is why I wanted to go. So Valentine's Day comes in 2 days. Can't believe it's already here. Definitely am glad I'm home and not traveling. Some years I'm traveling and I don't like that, because I like to see my roses. No, that Bob gets me. I'm just kidding. But we'll have to do something fun. If nothing more than huddle in front of the fire and stay warm. Whew. I tell you, one of my favorite things these days is my heated bed pad. My mattress pad. It's heated. So instead of having the heating blanket on top of you, it's on the bottom. And you can kind of keep it really low, like just on a 2 or a 1. Okay. Oh, I tell you, I want a pink Morse. Do you guys like this machine? I'm so glad to be back at it. I love this baby. Okay, so let me put this aside. We're getting there. I'm going to come down here. Make sure it's going the right way. There. Can you see this? So I need to make sure this goes that way. And we're off. Okay. Same thing, I'm just going to sparingly pin. So that the seams are nested, and I like to do the top seam facing up because then the machine kind of pulls it back in and it nests it very, very nicely. Joan, if you're out there, Joan sent me a question about the ironing. So each block is pretty good if you keep ironing toward the dark side, each of the 12 blocks. Then when you get to the sashing, what I found is I ironed toward the sashing on both sides wherever I could. It meant that sometimes I had to clip, like right there. I have to clip that and iron it over. But for the most part, on the back, I ironed my seams toward the sashing. See what you think. You just want the bulk to be spread around as much as you can. You don't want bulk in one spot so that when you go to quilt it, you don't get a bump or your long armor doesn't get a bump. And that's it. But really, it's nothing. Even a bump is fine. For me, you guys know, I don't iron that well because if I make my quilts mostly to use, so they get washed and they wear out anyway. So I debated about whether to wash the blue one behind me. It's been done for a few weeks because I knew that this week would be really busy when we came back from the retreat, and I knew that Friday would sneak right up on me, and sure enough, look at me here. I haven't been able to work on this pink one all week. So I did the blue one, and I made sure it was done before I got here, and before I got back. And I was going to wash it, but then I never got around to it, and earlier today I figured, well, we'll just look at it as is. Plus, I have a little, the other thing that slowed me down is we have a little rust in our water. It comes up from the well, and because it's such a white fabric, I didn't want to turn it orange. Oh, and I have lots more fabric that why is it that, I can tell you one thing, when you go to this retreat in Missouri, and not all retreats have to be about buying fabric, but I came back with more fabric than I left with. Okay, so there's the third one. One more. How are we doing? Okay, good. We're going to get this on. So I came back. I wanted to show you all what I came back with in terms of fabric. Let me lay this out and then I'll show you. And I have such generous friends. Literally, Debbie brought me some Civil War fabric that I love, that I'm going to have to do something with. I think literally a disappearing 4-patch is what I want to do there. So this was from Debbie. It's a Moda. Love, love, love this. Aren't those pretty? The blues and the browns, the bluish gray. So that's one. You know, come to think of it, a lot of this is gifts. I have such nice friends. So that we'll do something with. Then Beth gave me a charm pack of, what was it called? First Crush. She gave me the little ones, which I used already, and then I got a set of the big ones. And this is just a charm pack. It's got the grays that are so in right now, and then the reds, and it even goes toward the black. So that'll be fun. That might even just look good. It's just sewing the squares together. I might do that. I got some gray to extend it, but I might just sew those together as squares. We'll see. So that's another thing I brought home with me. Whew. Okay, so let's keep going and do this fourth one. Fourth side. My sister gave me a pattern called Goodnight Irene, and that I brought home 8 charm packs for that, so I might be working on that as soon as next week. We'll see. We'll see. Might be time to do a Dear Jane. I know several of you out there are doing it with your daughters, and it might just be time. Oh. Okay. I know Christine is not on tonight. She went to a movie. I don't know which movie, but if you're watching this later, hi, Christine. Hi to Sarah and Steve down in Marathon, Florida, down in the Keys. I feel so bad for you. Not. Oh. Hello to Kelsey. I hope you're home warm with your kids. You continue to be a hoot to me. Like I said, told her, it's always the quiet ones. Okay, we're getting there. It'll really confound me if I have extra pieces here. But you remember when I was cutting, I made a few extra things. Okay, so that can go on the top. Okay. Ooh, I think we might have the perfect amount of pinks. It's a good sign. Oh, I know what I meant to tell everyone. So next Friday night, I'll be down in Washington, D.C. And with any luck, I'll be at the Marriott Wardman up in Northwest, and they should have good internet access. So actually, so much for doing Dear Jane, unless maybe I could do some hand Dear Jane. So it'll be something pretty low-key next week. Watch this, my last seams, I'll probably make a mistake. I'm going to Washington, D.C. for the National Association of County Officers Legislative Conference. I'm really looking forward to learning a lot. There are 3,060 counties. Oops. Across the United States, and they'll all be sending representatives and learn from each other. Okay, so there we go. Keep going. There we go. Okay, I can put this one to this one. I'm using a lot of thread. How many of you do leader enders? It's probably time for me to run out of bobbin thread. All right. Let me see. Okay, and there's the final one. Hang on, I'm going to go down here. I dropped a square. Okay. Are you getting a lot done? Hi, Sandra, if you're out there. Hi, Norma. Hi, Marquet. Hi, Lorna. And Anne. And Allie. Ooh, and then there's a ding. Whoops. Oops. Who's out there? Remember a few weeks ago when we had to clean this one out? I hope we don't have to do that because I want to finish this. And I still want to talk about Valentine's Day and show you a 30-plus-year-old Valentine. Oops. Let's try this. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I do have extras. How funny is that? Maybe I'll make them into my label. Oh, who's out there? I thought I heard a buzz or a ding. Kelsey! Hi, Kelsey. She says, hi, Lynn. I miss my fellow retreaters. Such a fun time last weekend. It really was. Yep. It really was. We'll have to do it again. Aw. I think you said, like halfway through, you said, this is going to carry me. And I found myself thinking that this week at work. I thought, just think about the fun you had. Basically, I was giving myself a pep talk, telling myself to suck it up and do the work. Because, you know, doing the work, if all we did was play, it wouldn't be as much fun, I guess. So they tell me. Okay. So once we get this done, then literally all we're going to do is put this little border around. It's 1.5 inches wide. And then we're going to, I created the binding already for later after we quilt it. And we may not get to that final pink binding. We'll see. If you haven't discovered it yet, know that there is a Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along on Facebook. And it's a separate group that is for all of us to post our progress on our mystery quilts. So, and again, it's the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along. Unfortunately, Facebook has a lot of different types of pages, so the Simply Colorful page on Facebook that I have is called the Author, an author page. There are some other Simply Colorful pages, like there's a photographer, and then there's someone who is making bracelets. So just keep hunting, and I'm sorry it's a pain. And like I say, you can always go to the website, simplycolorful.com, and see what's the latest. The best way to get alerted about the Friday FiberCasts is to subscribe to YouTube. And that's another little bit of a complication in that it's youtube.com/simplycolorful and then the number 1. And believe it or not, I believe that years ago I set up the YouTube without the 1, and now, because I've forgotten my password, YouTube will not give it back to me, or something like that. Something weird. I'm sure it's operator error. Okay, so there's our 4th side. So I literally will set the seam with my iron, and then I'll sew it back, or I'll iron it back, and then I will put this final frame on it that should give it a nice frame. And after I do that, I'll post a picture of it on Facebook on that Simply Colorful Mystery. So let's see, how are we doing? So I think the timing is perfect to talk about Valentine's Day. Where did Valentine's Day come from? Well, the History Channel tells us that, interestingly, or just a little tidbit, 150 million Valentine's Day cards are exchanged annually. That makes it the 2nd most popular card sending holiday after Christmas. So this is a big money maker for the card manufacturers. But the legend of St. Valentine, it's a story of, so it goes, let's see, Every February 14th across the United States and in other places around the world, including the UK, candy, flowers, and gifts are exchanged between loved ones, all in the name of St. Valentine. But who is this mysterious saint? And where did these traditions come from? Well, according to history of this century-old holiday, it comes from Roman rituals and customs in Victorian England. The history of Valentine's Day and the story of its patron saint is shrouded in mystery, though. We do know that February has long been celebrated as a month of romance, and that St. Valentine's Day, as we know it today, contains vestiges of both Christian and ancient Roman tradition. The Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine. They were all martyrs. One legend contains that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome, when Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families. He outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. So he was martyr number 1. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter. She visited him during his confinement, and before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed, "From your Valentine." And it's an expression that's used today. And although the truth behind Valentine's legends is murky, the stories all emphasize Valentine's appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, and most importantly, romantic figure. And it goes on. Valentine's Day is celebrated in Canada, Mexico, United Kingdom, France, Australia, and in the middle of the 18th century, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection or handwritten notes. By the 1900s, printed cards began to replace written letters due to improvements in printing technology. Ready-made cards were an easy way for people to express their emotions in a time when direct expressions of one's feelings was discouraged, and cheaper postage rates also contributed to an increase in the popularity of sending Valentine's Day greetings. Well, very interesting. And then, of course, now we have email, which changes the whole dynamic, allowing us to send Valentines far and wide, many, and a lot. Which brings me to the very last thing I wanted to share with everyone, which is a couple of Valentines that my mother made for me. These were made in 1983 and 1986. And I think it's quite appropriate that they are fiber related. In 1983, my mother gave me a mini cathedral window quilted card. And I framed it. We framed it. It literally was that big. She did it all by hand. Don't you love it? 1983. And then in 1986, back when cross stitch was so popular, I think she made this for, I think she had made one for my sister, and it was for the top of maybe a box. I think, I don't know. I remember the pattern being in one of the cross stitch magazines. And that, again, is 1986. So, let's all make a Valentine. We have 2 days to do it. It's cold outside. Why not stay in and make a Valentine? Show someone you care in a unique and special way. So with that, I want to thank you all for being out there. It really means the world to me. It's amazing what we can get done together in 60 minutes. Have a great week, stay warm, and we'll see you next Friday night from Washington, D.C. Happy sewing!